Today we're going to take a quick one because this has been coming up quite a bit lately and talk about rentals, rental properties, property management in general, right? So as all of, listen up, Jay, did you? Let's do, yeah, pretty much. All right, so here is the deal with property management. So all of you know that we do not allow you agents to practice property management. That's kind of a blanket statement. That's not entirely true, okay? So let me say this. You can list a home for rent in the MLS in order to try and find your homeowner, your client, a tenant, right? You can do that. What you can't do with it, the big thing, is touch other people's money. All right. So the big thing with property management and where all the money is made is first off, as Jay can attest to, you need to have about 100 properties for it to even make sense. Otherwise, you're going to be spinning your wheels as you're building it up, and it takes a long time to get to that. But you can't touch the money. So you find the tenant is going to pay the owner directly, right? Make sense? Mm-hmm. Pretty easy, right? Yeah, not so much. Who has done a rental? Anybody? Listed or buy side?
Listed.
Listed? How'd that go for you?
I mean, it was easy enough because he took on a lot of the work. He did all of the leasing through
vetting.
Yeah, he did all of that. So I kind of just had to market it.
Okay, very good.
So yeah.
And what'd you do to market it?
Put it on MLS, put it on social medias, put it on all the Realty, social media groups.
All right, good deal.
Showed it a few times.
Like, how did you make money off of that?
So it was like a $4,000 listing, so I got like 50% of it.
15?
50.
Yeah, and then because the buyer came to me through Zillow, I also kept the buy side commission too.
She double-sided a rental property. That's definitely the way to do it. Obviously the rental commission, all commissions are negotiable, whatever you can get. Typically speaking, it's the first month's rent. Correct, Jay? Is that right? In most instances, placing a tenant gets you the first month's rent. All right, and then on the listing side, you'll have a co-op fee. And I will tell y'all that most of the time, who's worked with buy-side tenants? Nobody, right? Like literally nobody unless you're forced to because it's a client. And most of the time, the reason behind that is because they are paying you about $200, right? So you can definitely list homes. You just working with the buy side, if it's a client that you have that you're trying to nurture and get to, because they're going to be buying a home or they're moving in from out of state to find out what area they want to live in before they buy, makes sense to do it. Otherwise, personally, I think it's a big old waste of time to work with buyer side tenants. But there are reasons why you would do it. Listing side, you can list them. Again, you just can't collect monies, collect rent payments. All of the reason why that is because all of that money that you collect is including money that you're holding for repairs for them, security deposits, all that stuff needs to be in trust accounts, right? And we don't allow you all to have your own trust accounts. So that's where the problem lies. If we had 100 agents all doing that, each one of you would have, how many trust accounts do you have for your business, Jay? Oh, she doesn't want to say it out loud, that's fine. Typically, it's 3 to 4 for a brokerage that does property management, right? And you have the software that manages all of that stuff, but as agents here, the problem that I run into with it is now if you have an escrow account, not only do you have to reconcile your escrow account, the brokerage has to reconcile all of your trust accounts. Right. Those are trust issues. We don't want to have those. That's a good one. Another question that comes up when listing them is kind of how much does it cost? You have the FMLS fees and Georgia MLS fees. Georgia MLS, if you remember, is $20 a month. FMLS, you pay the percentage. Well, FMLS with rentals is a flat fee, all right? And you will be billed this monthly after your listing goes live. We get billed, we'll charge it back to you just like we would for your withdrawals. Let me scroll down here and it's going to show up. It's 15, 25, 50, 100. There we go. So up on the board here, if the monthly rent is Under $1,500, it's $15. From $1,500 to $2,499 is $25. From $2,500 to $4,999 is $50, and anything over $5,000 is a $100 fee. That is the listing fee, and it is charged as soon as you make that listing, that lease listing active. Okay, so once it closes, the rental is it's rented out. There is no more fee, right? So that's a big question that's been coming up. How does it work? Right?
Are those new fees?
No, those are the fees for FMLS.
I've never paid that. No, I've paid, but not that.
But not that? Yeah. Every time one of y'all makes a listing, a lease listing live, we get the bill at the end of the month. So do you just pay your FMLS fee at the bill at the end of the month automatically, probably?
I mean,
Maybe on ACH and.
But no, I thought it was like $12.50.
Can we just go through Jay then?
What's that?
Can we just go through Jay then?
Can we just go through Jay?
No, I go through. Oh.
Oh, no, he's asking if he can just put all of his property management with you.
No, I swear I paid like $12.50.
All right. Next on this topic, I want to jump into renting your own property. This is a property that you own personally. Yes, you can rent that out, manage that, collect monies, do all that stuff on your own. However, the security deposit on that must be held by Century 21 Connect Realty. So if you transfer here, agents that have transferred here that come here, you check off I have rental properties, or if you buy a rental property, Mike's a big advocate for that, right? And building wealth long term. Those security deposits must be held by the brokerage. Easy enough? Easy to talk about?
Tell y'all if we're buying a property.
Yes, you have to notify your broker in writing. You don't have to ask for permission, but you do have to notify us in writing whenever you are buying or selling real estate
In Georgia.
in Georgia.
Does that populate just like a listing would, like that rental would go on Zillow and Trulia and all that?
Yes,
Okay.
it does syndicate automatically. Other questions? No?
Georgia MLS too?
Georgia MLS doesn't have a fee
Okay. But you,
that I'm aware of, do they? I'm going to ask Jay. I don't think so. There's no fee for rent. There is a fee to withdraw a rental or something, I think, but.
and then is there anybody who specializes, like I'll get fire rentals through my YouTube channel, but I don't ever want to mess with them. Is there anybody who in our brokerage specializes to sit them that way?
Nobody wants to work with them in the first place. You can ask around for that. I'd say do a post on Workplace
Yeah.
and ask. Somebody may want to work with them, you know. You know, what'd you say? You can make their eyes bleed with leads for rentals for $200. On that note, a lot of these, I mean, I'll kind of flip it around on you real quick on that. On that note, if a tenant wants to work with an agent, and you can get an agreement, a brokerage engagement agreement with them, and they can pay you more than what the co-op is paying. So if they're having a hard time, you can say, hey, look, I can do this for you, but it's going to cost you $1,000 when I find a place. Now, is it worth so if that's something you want to do, you can always come talk to me about that. And that'd be a way of filtering out 99% of them to say, yes, I do work with buyer tenants, but my fee personally is $1,000, is $1,500, is $2,000. Are you willing to pay that to me if I find you a place? Oh, yes, sure. Perfect. Let's get to work. Make sense?
The problem with finding someone a place, you're not in control of the approval process, and a lot of people, and this is probably very general that I'm saying, but people that are having a hard time finding somewhere to rent, they have bad credit, they have evictions, they have things that make somebody not want to rent to them. So you're like really spinning your wheels for real.
It's part of the vetting process of them, and you sign it and they agree to it, and then you find out that they can't rent from the first place that they put an application in on because they have all of the above, the eviction, bad credit, all of that. You say, thank you for your time, but I, at this point, am making the decision not to work with you any further. And you end the brokerage relationship. You get to work with whoever you want to. You get to pick and choose. Make sense?
Somebody does want to work with a buyer brokerage under the scenario that specifically what form and how they would go about solidifying that relationship.
I wasn't prepared to talk about that. That was just off the cuff. Come see me if it's something that maybe I'll post something later.
I can help.
There is a form. I don't know the numbers, all that stuff.
There's a tenant brokerage agreement in GAR. You just simply fill out that tenant brokerage agreement. And there's a section where you talk about commission, and it would be the percentage or whatever they're offering, but there's also a little checkbox where you just put a flat rate fee in, which is $1,000. Check that box. Have them sign it. You're locked in at that point.
Thank you, Mr. J. I will pull up this quickly, or try to.
Your fee, how would the tenant pay you?
So it would be whenever you do the closing, they would have to write a check to the brokerage. The broker would come in and go to Karen, and Karen would process it as we would normally do, taking out royalties and fees and your split.
There you go, F134. Exclusive tenant brokerage agreement. Very good.
Yep.
That's my time.